When the world first met Star Trek in 1966, viewers were captivated by a vision of the future unlike anything they had seen before. A future where people of every race, gender, and background worked together aboard the Starship Enterprise, exploring the cosmos with courage, intelligence, and unity. At the center of this groundbreaking crew was Nichelle Nichols, the incomparable Lieutenant Uhura, whose calm confidence, elegance, and quiet strength made her an icon on screen. But behind the red uniform and poised smile, Nichelle Nichols faced a very different reality, one of subtle marginalization, discrimination, and challenges that no audience member could have imagined. For decades, she remained largely silent about these struggles. Before her death, she finally spoke openly, revealing the obstacles she endured while forging a path for generations to come. This is the untold story of Nichelle Nichols, the trailblazer, the artist, the activist, and the woman who changed how the world saw possibility. For millions of viewers, Lieutenant Uhura was more than a character, she was a symbol. At a time when black women on television were often relegated to roles as maids, secretaries, or background figures, Uhura held a position of authority, intelligence, and dignity. She spoke with clarity, operated the communications console with skill, and held her own alongside the legendary Captain Kirk and the ever-logical Spock. Nichols' role was revolutionary. Young girls, especially black girls, looked at the Enterprise and saw themselves reflected in her, a vision of what they could become. Among her admirers were Whoopi Goldberg, who would later join Star Trek, The Next Generation as Guinan, and Mae Jemison, who would make history as the first black woman in space. Nichols' influence extended far beyond television. She inspired dreams that would literally reach for the stars. Yet, this groundbreaking visibility came at a cost. Behind the camera, Nichols often felt sidelined. Lines were shortened, scenes reduced, and promotional photos frequently omitted her. Some producers seemed intent on keeping her presence minimal, as though a black woman in a position of authority on television was something audiences weren't ready to see. Nichols' remarkable role was not only a victory for representation, it was a personal challenge that required resilience, courage, and persistence. Born Grace Dell Nichols on December 28, 1932, in Robbins, Illinois, Nichelle was one of 6 children. Her father, Samuel Earl Nichols, worked in a factory and also served as the mayor and chief magistrate of Robbins, while her mother, Licia, cared for the family at home. From an early age, Nichols displayed determination and creativity, eventually asking to change her name to Nichelle, meaning victorious maiden. Her artistic journey began in Chicago, where she trained in dance at the Chicago Ballet Academy and performed with some of the nation's most celebrated musicians, including Duke Ellington and Lionel Hampton. Her talents led her to Broadway and the iconic film Porgy and Bess. By 1967, she was gracing the cover of Ebony magazine, earning recognition not just for her beauty but for her artistry. Even before Star Trek, Nichols demonstrated a commitment to excellence. She had appeared in Gene Roddenberry's earlier series The Lieutenant, tackling racial prejudice in a guest episode. These experiences laid the groundwork for what would become a historic television career. Despite her success, Nichols struggled with her role on Star Trek. She often felt her contributions were minimized and considered leaving after the first season to return to Broadway. It was a pivotal moment in her life. She approached Gene Roddenberry, the show's creator, ready to resign, unsure if her groundbreaking role was worth the frustration of being marginalized. But fate intervened. That weekend, Nichols attended an NAACP banquet where she expected to meet a fan. Instead, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. approached her. He spoke of her importance not merely as an actress, but as a symbol of possibility. "You can't leave," he told her. "You're opening doors, inspiring children, and representing progress. Your presence on that bridge matters." Moved to tears, Nichols reconsidered. She returned to Roddenberry inspired to continue. His support, combined with Dr. King's encouragement, gave her the courage to stay. And stay she did, changing television history and inspiring generations. One of the most talked about moments in Star Trek history was Nichols' on-screen kiss with William Shatner's Captain Kirk in the 1968 episode Plato's Stepchildren. It is often cited as the first interracial kiss broadcast on American television. The scene was far from simple. NBC feared backlash and even requested reshoots without the kiss. Nichols and Shatner, however, refused to back down. Shatner reportedly sabotaged alternate takes to ensure that the original kiss would air. When the episode premiered, the network braced for controversy. Instead, viewers responded overwhelmingly positively, recognizing the historic courage and progress represented by the moment. Though the scene was short and framed by alien mind control, its impact was immense. It challenged societal norms and demonstrated that representation, equality, and love could cross racial boundaries. Nichols later recalled how meaningful it was to witness the power of a single, brief moment in reshaping culture. After Star Trek ended in 1969, Nichols' influence continued. She reprised her role as Uhura in the animated series, 6 Star Trek films, and even lent her voice to iconic animated shows like Futurama, Batman, the animated series, and Gargoyles. Her versatility as an actress, singer, and voice artist kept her relevant in pop culture for decades. Nichols also became a passionate advocate for space exploration. She worked with NASA to recruit women and minorities into the space program, inspiring figures like Dr. Sally Ride, Colonel Guyon Bluford, and many others. Nichols' work was not just about acting, it was about ensuring everyone could reach for the stars, both literally and metaphorically. Nichelle's life was not without personal struggles. Relationships, heartbreaks, and family tragedies tested her resilience. She dated Gene Roddenberry in the 1990s but ended it upon learning he was also involved with Majel Barrett. Earlier, she had a brief, passionate relationship with Sammy Davis Jr. She married twice, with both marriages ending in divorce, and faced the heartbreaking loss of her brother Thomas, a member of the Heaven's Gate cult. Health challenges in her later years added to the difficulty. She suffered a minor stroke in 2015 and was later diagnosed with dementia. Legal and personal struggles with her former manager further complicated her final years. Despite these obstacles, Nichols maintained grace, dignity, and hope, always valuing the connection with her fans and the impact of her work. While the public often remembers the historic moments on screen, Nichols' off-screen relationships were equally significant. Leonard Nimoy treated her with respect and became a close friend. George Takei brought joy and camaraderie to the set. Even with William Shatner, tensions eventually eased, and they came to appreciate each other's contributions. DeForest Kelley's kindness provided comfort amidst the pressures of being a pioneering black woman in a prominent TV role. These bonds were vital, providing support as Nichols navigated challenges on and off set. They shaped not only her experience on Star Trek but also her enduring legacy in the entertainment industry. Nichelle Nichols' influence is immeasurable. She inspired future generations of actors, scientists, and explorers. From her role as Uhura to her advocacy with NASA, she shaped a vision of a future defined not by race or gender but by talent, courage, and possibility. Her later appearances, including on The Young and the Restless and voice roles in animation, demonstrated her versatility and longevity in the industry. Her musical talents, showcased in multiple episodes and albums, revealed a multifaceted artist who never stopped creating. On July 30, 2022, Nichelle Nichols passed away at the age of 89 due to heart failure. In a final tribute befitting her life among the stars, her ashes were sent into deep space alongside those of Majel Barrett and Douglas Trumbull. Even in death, Nichols reached for the cosmos, just as she had always done in life. Nichelle Nichols' story is one of courage, resilience, and inspiration. She broke barriers, challenged societal norms, and left a legacy that stretches far beyond television. Through her work, she reminded the world that representation matters and that a single person's courage can spark hope, ignite dreams, and change history. Lieutenant Uhura was more than a character. She was a symbol of possibility. Nichelle Nichols was more than an actress. She was a trailblazer, a role model, and a woman who dared to reach for the stars, and encouraged everyone else to do the same. Her life reminds us that progress often comes at a personal cost, but the impact can echo across generations. For every young girl who looked at the Enterprise and saw herself reflected in Uhura, for every aspiring astronaut or actor inspired by her, Nichelle Nichols' legacy will shine forever, like a star guiding the way through the vast, uncharted universe.